The pagans have nothing on us as to what we do to our children in the name of science. It's demonic. That's the only way I know how to describe it. The state of Washington passed a bill, I don't know how many years ago now, and the gist of it was if you as a counselor do anything other than affirm a minor who comes in for gender dysphoria treatment, this isn't a ban on sort of biblical Christian counseling. This is a no, you may not be neutral. Mm-hmm. You must affirm the child in his or her distorted sense of gender. Every instance it happens, it's a $5,000 fine, you risk losing your license. So we're writing an amicus brief for this, and so I've got to kind of do a deep dive. And my job was basically to point out all the ways in which the quote-unquote medical community had been wrong in the past, knowingly wrong, and affirmatively recommended and pushed treatments and regimes and studies that did real physical harm to the subjects. And so as part of that, I sort of have to dive into this, like, what is transgender care? And I had to lay down 4 or 5 times to avoid passing out from just the stuff I was reading, the kind of procedures that exist. And I'm not even going to go into the pictures. And I came away from that, and one of the things, so one of the phrases that I used was, the pagans have nothing on us as to what we do to our children in the name of science. It's demonic. That's the only way I know how to describe it. And it robs families of future generations, right? It cuts fathers off from their children and their grandchildren. And it's a ghastly, ghastly thing.
I mean, it's so easy to be black-pilled and to just be like, it's over. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. What do you say to men especially who hold to that view of like, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, it's over, it's terrible?
Despair is a sin. If you're a Christian, you're not allowed to do that. That's off limits. You may have any number of other responses. You may get angry the way Job got angry and speak to God in that anger, and apparently the Lord was pretty okay with it, as long as it was honest. But you may not despair. Despair is a testament to how you understand the Lord's sovereignty and activity in the world and the justness or rightness of his plan for you. Maybe his plan for you was to live and die fighting for results that you will never see in a civilization that will ultimately pass away either during your lifetime or afterward. It is not you to question whether that's a sufficient life to live. As long as it's lived in service to the Lord, it'll be a glorious life. And I guess Jonathan is probably the best picture of this, right? He's the son of the king of Israel, rightful heir to the throne. God comes in and says, nope, giving it to somebody else. Not for anything that you did, but because of the sin of your father. And what does Jonathan do? He says, great, cool, I'm all in. Where are we going? What are we doing? Everything I can do to support the Lord's anointed while honoring my father. And you may remember how Jonathan died. Jonathan died in a battle that was being waged because his father got in a skirmish, right? Now, that's an example of just abandon for the Lord, right? I don't know what God's plan is for, and you can see it in other parts of Jonathan's life, right? I'm thinking now, there's a story in which Israel's camped, and Jonathan, his armor bearer, he sort of looks up and he sees, I guess, some guys sort of nearby, some of the enemy army. He says, hey, let's see if the Lord will let us go and take it. And God says, yeah, go up. And so they go, right? And just him and like one other dude go up and, take some of these guys. Jonathan, I think, is a great example of follow hard after the Lord, fight for the Lord, even in the midst of what looks to be a crumbling regime around you.